Hey guys, welcome to video 3 in this series of our defensive ground position. I'm Sensei Andy from Kando Martial Arts, Knox, and let's dive straight into it. So last week we looked at, or in the last video, we looked at defensively standing up from the ground. How do we get up when I'm on the ground, I'm on my side, my opponent's standing up? And we looked at our 3 rules. Number 1, don't put 2 hands on the ground. You lose your lines of defense. You've got nothing to block them if they decide to throw a shot at your head. Rule number 2, don't turn your back, because then you can't see what's coming at you. You've got no way to defend yourself from there. And rule number 3, we need to make our distance. Now what we looked at last time was from our defensive ground position. I'll move back a little bit so you can see. From our defensive ground position, I came up to this halfway point with my foot behind, my bottom leg behind my front leg. I lift my hips and I come all the way out to my foot with my chest facing the ground. Hands can come up and I can continue making my distance back. What we're going to look at this week to give us a little bit of a halfway point, a kind of intermediate step there, because I understand I teach this to a lot of adults, and a lot of adults sometimes don't always have the athleticism, especially when they're first getting started in martial arts, to get all the way up to their hand. So I've got a little halfway point for you. We're going to be in our defensive ground position. I still come up to this halfway point with my foot behind. I lift my hips up, and this time, instead of coming to my foot, I'm going to come to my knee. I'm going to bring my knee next to my hand. From here, I can bring both hands up and stand up and get away from this kneeling position. So let's look at that one more time. Defensive ground position. Halfway sitting up. Lift my hips and come up to my knee. Both hands come up, and then I can step up and away, okay? Now, like we talked about in the last video, at any point through that sequence, I can always retreat, come back to the ground. If they're starting to close the distance on me and I don't feel like I can stand up safely, I can retreat, come back to my elbow, back onto the ground. So let's have a look at how that one works. I'm in my defensive position. Maybe I've thrown a kick. They've given me a bit of space. So I come up to this halfway point. I come up to my knee and I think, oh no, they're starting to come back in. So what do? I fold back, bring my legs up again, and I'm back into my defensive ground position again. We can even do that from standing, from our standing version. I'm in my defensive ground position, kick them away, come up, look to stand up on my foot, and then, oh no, boom, I come back up on my elbow, ready to kick them away again. In the next video, we are going to look at kicks from on the ground, another way to maintain our distance or keep them at a distance so that I can get up and get away. All right, I look forward to seeing you in that video. I'll see you then.